Let me try it.
Okay, let's go.
Leslie Archibald. I'm a Houston-based writer. Um, I write poetry, nonfiction, and fiction. Um, in, I'm based in Houston, and I have a chapbook uh, coming in March from Finishing Line Press. And my pressmate, Kathi Crawford, and I wanted to talk a bit about chapbooks and maybe read a little bit for you and take some questions. Um, so, Kathi, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. It's exciting to be here with you tonight, Leslie. Um, both of us have been published by Finishing Line Press. My book was published earlier in 2025. It actually was sent out at the end of September of 2025. It's called Consider the Light. I have a career in human resources, actually, and really have spent a lot of my time in that full-time career and returned to writing in 2017 creatively. Started taking classes here in Houston. I'm also in Houston, and that's how I met Leslie through those classes. And over time, as I was creating and generating poems and short stories, it appeared appeared to me that I might have a chapbook. So it kind of led to this opportunity to start submitting something and ultimately be accepted. I also will say I have another chapbook coming out from Finishing Line Press as well. That'll be coming out in 2026. It starts pre-order in June, end of June, and publishes at the end of October. So it's very exciting.
Thank you, Kathi. So, I thought we'd start by talking a bit about chapbooks. Um,
Mhm.
what is the chapbook? What is the process of creating it, the benefits, and the publishing process? Um, so, a chapbook is a themed short collection, about 30 pages.
Yeah.
Um, and it
Yeah, I've not seen anything bigger than like 35 pages, I think. Yeah.
has a specific theme. Some are illustrated. Um, I was introduced to chapbooks through a workshop that I took with Wrightspace. Kathi was in the workshop with me.
Yeah.
You want to add anything?
Yes, I think it's interesting because I don't know if you had a plan of creating a book someday. It really wasn't in my, vision board or anything like that I would actually write a book. But when I learned about chapbooks, I learned that it could be something um, shorter that could provide an experience for a reader. I actually love reading chapbooks because you can immerse yourself in a chapbook and get through that in an evening or over, a couple of days of just kind of dipping in and reading the material. I mean, really get a good idea of the style of the writer and other aspects of the writer and learn about writers that you didn't know about previously. So when I started learning that chapbooks were a way to produce something, that's what got me curious. And then signing up for Kendra's class really helped pull it together. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that if people, want to be published, this is an option for them.
they're kind of a springboard into publishing, and
Hmm. Yeah.
and it will push you to do something bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. And it becomes sort of a way of thinking about your work as a body of work,
Mhm.
not a poem here and a poem there, and which we do those too. Things that don't necessarily connect, but are meaningful at the time that we write them. But I think it gives you that way of sort of thinking of what you're writing as a body, as a theme, as something that is, a little more comprehensive. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
And
Oh, break it up again.
what about the publishing process for publishing
Hmm.
a chapbook? I was totally not prepared for that.
Uh-huh.
I submitted it to a couple of places and was rejected, and I really
Mhm.
didn't expect it to be picked up. That's the important one, right? So
Uh-huh.
yeah, when I got the email that they wanted to publish it, I was like, oh, okay, so what now
Yeah, yeah.
for
I
me?
think that's such a big hill to climb to actually get an acceptance that you're right. Like we're not thinking about the next step. Oh, I have to actually like promote it and talk about it and think about all these decisions and so on and so forth. So we do take it one step at a time, and that first goal is a big one, getting it accepted. And I think that perhaps you followed a similar approach in that you find different publishers through who's published people that you like to read or that fit the kind of genre of poetry or short story or what have you that your chapbook is in. So you have this sort of short list of possible publishers, and then the magic happens and they say yes. Um, it does depend on the publisher as to how much you end up doing or not doing. I highly recommend trying to have someone publish your book where you are not paying for the process per se. There are a lot of vanity presses and they're self-publishing, and that's an avenue that you can go down. But it really is meaningful to have a press say they want your book and to actually have their name on it and use their platform for that promotion. So I think for both of us, that's been a blessing to have that. And then from there, it's like, well, there's this misnomer out there that uh, you could find a press that would do everything for you. And I have to tell you, I've looked at a lot of presses, and I haven't found any that would do everything. You really have to be involved in your process. And so I think that was the terrifying moment for me as well, is okay, what do I do now? Yeah. So,
Also, so you do have some control, like
mhm,
the covers with finishing
mhm,
myself. We got to pick our cover art, and we
yeah.
both chose local Houston artists.
Mhm. Yes.
Uh, so yeah,
Yeah.
that was
It's an important point. Yeah, go ahead.
no, I just said that was fun. So
Yeah, it was fun. And so that's something to read in the guidelines as to how the cover art is created and whether you have that choice. Yeah, it's in some aspects it's good to have that control, like with the cover. So um, yeah, yeah.
was there
Uh,
anything about chapbook in general?
I I think that's it for now. And I would also offer that if anyone has questions, they could probably reach out to either one of us. Writers are a community amongst themselves, where we try to help each other and support each other. So always happy to answer any questions.
Me as well.
Let me move into just asking you a few questions, Leslie, about your chapbook. Just in terms of like, tell us a little bit about how you came up with the name for the chapbook. What is contained? What genre is that? What structure did you choose to tell your story? Yeah, just the overall content of what you've written.
I didn't set out to write this chapbook. I I was taking uh, poetry workshops and writing poetry, and this theme kept coming up: the abusive spouse. I was divorced, married and divorced fairly young, and I took a lot of memoir in the beginning because I was working on a different memoir, but I didn't really want to focus on the abuse and the details in a memoir. And I thought about Emily Dickinson's Tell the Truth but Tell It Slant. So I decided to
Mhm.
go ahead and continue working on this theme. And that's how I came about the how the poetry chapbook came about. And the
Mhm.
title,
Yeah.
Poems for a Broken Marriage, scratch that, man. um,
Mhm.
it seemed appropriate because I realized that it wasn't the marriage, it was the man and his addictions and his abusive behavior that ruined the marriage. So the um and over time, after saying the title so many times, I'm thinking
Uh-huh.
the scratching out marriage kind of tells people that you can edit your choices. You can just
Oh,
if
yes.
um, I think
I think that's really really an important note is the power of really crossing out
right.
the marriage part. Yeah, that's not really what's going on here.
Mhm.
So yeah, they say that the most powerful word is no, right? And we tend not to use it as much as we probably need to. And this is like that empowerment as well of crossing out the word and taking a different look at it. So what was in the process of writing these poems and working through that, did it help contribute to your healing and in what ways?
It did. I didn't really even realize that I needed healing. Didn't realize that it was bothering me or that I had been holding on to it because it's been 30 years and I didn't realize that I was still holding on to it. But as these poems came out, it exposed that trauma, and just exposing it and acknowledging it helps you to move on.
Mhm.
And I think that's where writing can be helpful in
Yeah.
with any trauma, anything
Mhm.
you're holding on to.
Yeah, because when it's inside of us, the it has this, it can have this power over us that we don't even realize we're holding until we put a light to it and put it in front of ourselves, and then it's like, oh, that's been inside there all this time. And then writing about it sort of releases that power that it might have over us. Yeah.
And
I found that in writing a lot of mine as well.
you did
Yeah.
some writing that heal some healing as well. Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, that's part of the reason why I titled mine Consider the Light is that, growing up as an only girl of five children, taking that role, the roles that we put women in our society, during the time in which I was raised, and how what may have seemed and maybe at the time was a true challenge and something to overcome. Uh, I would always kind of search for what could I do? What could I do differently? What else could I make happen to change my situation? And so when I think of Consider the Light, it's always trying to think about you're not boxed in. unless you let yourself be boxed in. Um, and we can do that, and we can do that for a really long time. And at some point, I'd like to inspire people to think about, what other possibilities are there with whatever situation they're facing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that brings me to the question of why write? Why do we create? I mean, obviously it does promote healing and but it also why do you create?
Mhm. Yeah, and I'd love to hear your answer too. For me, having worked mostly in a corporate career, um, which by nature, there's trying to stifle your creativity. Your work is in service of that employer or that client or that situation a lot of times. And though there are rewards that can come from that, um, that creative side of yourself isn't being expressed as much. And I've always been a writer. I love writing. I love reading. It gives me life. I mean, as a child, I always had a book in my hands. I mean, I was always reading. And so this coming back to expression in a way that's not fixed, that's open, has really helped create even more possibilities for myself. And it helps me get through the hard times, the tough times. And I've actually started taking up art as well. So it's another way to express. What's that?
My next question, what do you do to stretch your creative muscles?
A lot of what I write comes through classes. I've found that format to work really well for me, where we're generating work inside the class. But I also have a group of certain teachers that I enjoy the most, and then sometimes I'll try new teachers based on referral. But I find that environment a way to generate the writing. And then in the art side of it, I belong to a group in Houston called the Women in the Visual and Literary Arts, which you're also a member of. And we get together in a lot of different ways where we are able to practice and learn different things on both sides, both in writing and in art. So I've been really encouraged by my fellow members on the visual side to start doing collage. And I've taken a few classes in that starting last year, and I've created a few pieces. And then you encouraged me to submit my work to Hardy and Nance for an upcoming show. And so this could be my first show.
I have dabbled in the visual as well.
Hmm.
Photography was my main love, but I did start
Hmm.
watercolor um, in 2024. I was at home with my mother after she had had an illness, and I was watercoloring, and I found that it really kind of just calmed. It kind of filled my soul. So
Yes.
yeah, I've been doing that, and I'm gonna make you do some watercolors too at some
Oh,
point.
I would love to. I'll come play at your studio. Tell us about your studio. Yeah.
Um, my studio is a joint venture with Holly Walrus. It's Merge Studio, 2000 Nance, and we are focusing on merging the visual and literary. Holly's done a lot of uh, erasure poetry where she erases a piece and then she'll do art around the poem that comes out of that. And
Yes.
I've been adding words to my visual art as well. So That's going to be the focus.
Yes.
Studio.
Fantastic. And I just took a class with y'all when you opened the studio, had a great time. So those classes are on Eventbrite if people have an interest of finding a place to go, which is fun to create art in community. It's called Merge Art Studio, and it's in the Hardy and Nance kind of new building that they have over there. Yeah. Okay. So, and you might check your microphone again. Um, I'd love to hear you read some of what you've got in your book. You have a selection of poems to share with us.
These are from my chapbook, Poems for a Broken Marriage. Scratch that, man. From Finishing Line Press. This is called I Once Had Wings. My mother gave me wings and told me I could fly. She taught me that I had a voice and that I could make my own choices. Then you held your hand over my mouth to silence me. You picked feather by feather, pulled and ripped until my wings broke loose. You held me down. You told me I was nothing. I would never fly on my own. I still heard her voice in my head telling me I could leave. So I limped out the door, hoisting my wings behind me. This one is called Fog. Fog rolls in from sea graves, ghosts coming home. Blinding billows swell over me, and I'm running for shelter. Your voice calls, come in from the cold. A whisper weighted by my frenzied heartbeat, soup-filled lungs, struggling. Your laugh thunders over my gasps. I reach for the door and hear you turning the lock. I saw death on the parkway. He walked along the easement, the heat of the day beating down on his slick tattooed head, black trench coat covering his bulging biceps and back, bare chested and a cigarette cupped between his finger and thumb to shield its ember from the wind. I thought he was looking to catch an unsuspecting texter or the speeder who didn't see the sedan pulling out of the 7-Eleven. Always there, always willing to lead the unaware from this world. I pulled around to get a closer look, maybe offer him a ride. I wanted to touch him, to see if he was real. He turned, looking back. My eyes caught his. I shuddered, suspended in a stare, his stare that looked so much like yours.
Those are very powerful. Yes, yes. A lot of imagery in your poems as well. Really, really nice. Thank you.
So, do you want to read a couple as well?
I will. I will. I thought I would read one that was written in a collaboration with the artist who created the cover. And just I'll put the cover up here again for everyone to see. So Brooke Summers Perry is an artist in Houston. She and I collaborated with the WIBLA biennial collaboration in 2024. And she was inspired by this poem and created that artwork. Being a cog in the wheel of this economic engine makes me feel like I am lost in life. Being anywhere makes me gasp for air. Each day I begin with the hope for energy to fuel my spirit, as I forge through capitalist expectations to buy my continued existence. If I am the fuel mixing with air, why am I not ignited? Where is the spark plug to connect me with myself? I need to find compassion for the me that lives inside the me that lives on the outside. Each day I wake conscious of my quandary, and it distracts me. My halting efforts toward artistic expression are rooted in the belief hard work is good for the soul. In self-portrait with thorn necklace and hummingbird, courage fumes out of Frida Kahlo's fixed gaze. The essence of who we are flames, stroke by stroke on a canvas, line by line on the page, plant by plant in the dirt. And I'll read one more. This one is also inspired by art. So that was exciting as well. I was taking a class with one of my favorite instructors, Kathi Crawford, and she shared with us that there was a theme for a magazine called Flash Frontier, and it was a bird theme. And then I was on Instagram and saw a favorite nature photographer that I know personally. Her name's Leah Fry, and she posted a photo of the great gray owl. So this one is called Ghosts of the Forest. You find them quietly perched on the edges of meadows or forest openings, nearly invisible. But when they hit you with their mesmerizing stare, their yellow eyes boring through, like human eyes in a feathered suit, it's like they know it's time for you to take a leap of faith. In this stage of my life, windows and doors are closing, and I am searching for an opening, a way out. Like the time I was lost in the woods behind my childhood home, I was trying to find the creek alone because my brother wouldn't come with me. I was hell-bent on finding it. Lost, I frantically ran through the trees and brush to find the path to the backyard until, instead, the creek appeared, but at a different point along the water line. I sat on the edge, catching my breath, when my brother suddenly, quietly appeared. And now the deep, booming hoot of the mysterious Strix nebulosa is calling me to clock out of corporate life, to trust the steps ahead. It's time to stop playing this soul-robbing game, to break through the hard, packed snow and forage what's beneath. I understand I am, as much as anyone, an endangered species, seeking a way to live in the midst of impermanence. I can only hope to navigate this closing act of my life with the wingspan of the great gray owl. Thank you. Kind of recognizing a theme right there with those two. Escaping the corporate grind.
Yeah. Thank you. So
Yes. Thank
something
you.
I can't thank you enough for the help that you've given me in trying to navigate this chapbook. Uh, I'm so
Mhm.
glad that you went before me, so you could.
I'm glad I could show the way and it's helpful to you for
Do you
sure.
have Do you have any advice for people working on a chapbook?
Yeah. Let me think. What would be? So I think one of the things that if you're a writer who has maybe never been published, even individual poems or stories, the first step is to start trying to get those individual pieces accepted, I think, from a literary magazine. And there are a lot of different resources for finding places to send your work. Included in that would be Duotrope. Um, uh, there's also another one called Submittable. And then there are others out there. Sub Club, I think, is one other one that people can check. And in those platforms, you can search for magazines that are currently have calls for submittals. There are a couple magazines here in Houston. The Bayou Review is currently asking for submittals. They're out of the University of Houston downtown. Equinox, which is part of an organization called Hot Poets, is looking for poems and stories, and they have a theme, and it's liminal spaces. And then a third one I would recommend would be Synchronicity, and it's Synchroniciti. And they just closed their submittal call, but they're going to open another one very shortly. But I think it's just getting to know what are the places where you like to go read things and submitting into those places. And so you start to get that confidence of people looking, reading, accepting, or rejecting your work. And that I think is a first step. What about you? What suggestions do you have, Leslie?
Um, well, workshopping has been such a valuable part of my growth in my, I don't know that I would have time to generate work if I didn't take the workshops that I've taken over the last.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
workshop. You can find workshops anywhere now since COVID.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
every author, every press, there
Mm-hmm.
are organizations like Imprint
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
uh, Grackle and Grackle, Bright Space,
Right.
um,
Mm-hmm.
that where you can take workshops
Yeah.
and just grow your portfolio. I guess is what
Uh-huh. Right, right, exactly.
you have to.
I think that's so important. I mean, it's just go right, go right. And you're bringing up another thought is the other thing is find those writing communities wherever you are. You might be outside of Houston, and I will say that in most communities, there are people writing and sharing their work in some form or fashion. There is reading here at Imprint, imprint.org. I don't know, it's a Friday night. I think it's the fourth Friday or the first Friday.
First
First
Friday.
Friday. Yeah. And then there's public poetry. So through the public library, and a lot of public libraries across the country have poetry readings on a regular basis, if that's what you write. But if you write science fiction or you write fiction or creative nonfiction, there are places to read those works as well. So find places where you can listen to people read their work, and you can also have the opportunity to start practicing your voice up in front of people. Um, yeah. All right.
So, Kathy, do you want to tell us a little more about your next project, running with people?
Okay. Yes, actually. Okay. Yes. So I have, thank you for asking. Um, so with Finishing Line, I have another book coming out. It's called Running with the Beasts. And I feel like Consider the Light and this new book sort of talk to each other. So it's a good accompaniment to what the kinds of works that are found in Consider the Light. More creative nonfiction and poetry that speaks to my life and in a broader perspective, women, um, being a woman in the US, probably more specifically, I'm in my 60s. So, people that like to read those types of things would enjoy both books. Not that men don't enjoy reading the books. I've had a lot of good feedback on from that perspective as well. But I can't help but be, a woman writing about my life. So yeah, I'm excited, and I'm excited to work with Finishing Line again.
Great
What
job.
about you? What do you have in the works?
Um, I am working on a poetry collection. Not that far along. I'm in revision.
Uh-huh.
I do have a first draft, but I haven't started shopping it to anyone because I'm still working on it. And I have a novel that I'm
Okay.
hoping to get a first draft in this
Oh, fantastic. That'll be a completely different process, probably with different readers, I guess, for the novel,
year. Yeah,
possibly.
probably an agent as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Longer works are have a whole
yeah,
different way or
yeah.
approach to
I
them, I think.
haven't researched any small presses that do novel length. Most of them
Hmm.
don't, but I mean, there may be some.
Yeah.
Information.
I think there are some small presses that, yeah, that publish novels, longer works in general. But yeah, yeah, that's exciting.
Another topic.
Yeah, yeah, that's exciting. Well, we'll have to do this again um, when my next book comes out and yours as well.
Sure.
Where can people find you, Leslie?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook. Instagram is Leslie.Archibald. Facebook is Leslie McCoy Archibald. Um, and I have my website is Leslie Archibald Writer at .com.
Yeah, 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 yeah. www.
www.lesliearchibaldwriter.com.
And you also have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have
Excellent.
I guess we discussed the name for YouTube. I'm not that.
You know, yeah, I have Kathy Crawford writer, I think, on YouTube, and then Instagram is Kathy Crawford, Blue Sky, LinkedIn, all of those. It's KathiCrawford. And my author site is also the same, and it's on a WordPress platform. So if you want to follow, you'd be more up to date with things that I'm publishing because I do publish those links on my blog as well on my website.
Well, thank you for keeping me.
Thank you. This is fun. Good night, everybody.